Hey everyone, and welcome to the recap of the Jason Chen case, Day 4. Day 4 was a horrible day because this is when Dr. Coxwell took the stand and walked the jury through the autopsy. He talked about the condition in which she was found. It was stuffed inside a suitcase in a fetal position, no clothing on the upper half, and with the um, with the arm and leg handcuffed together, which he described as not typical for a red rum victim. And it wasn't handcuffs; it was more like a shackle, like a lamp chain or something. The Not something like you see with law enforcement. It was something improvised. He then talked about the 60 stabulations. There were injuries to her scalp, her neck, her face, jugular vein, and all the areas had been heavily damaged. And he saw it as a brutal attack that was far from ordinary. And we're talking about a very experienced uh, person here. He has done more than 7,000 autopsies. So that's probably going to sit well with the jury. He said the weapon had a relatively broad blade. It wasn't like a steak knife. It was more like a butcher knife or a chef knife. And all the wounds weren't randomly. They seemed to come from one direction, right to left. And that's probably a good idea. We know he's claiming I did it because she attacked me with a wine bottle, and the state said no, it was premeditated. So all of the stabulations coming from one side would seem like it's not in a struggle. You didn't black out in the middle of a struggle and just went crazy stabulating. It seems like she has been on the side and then he just went crazy. It's also his opinion she had been bleeding heavily before she passed away. He believes she was likely placed on the carpet next to the bed while she was still losing blood, and he thought that the presence of that amount of blood was significant, but they couldn't tell you where it really happened. They also found that tip of the chef's knife that was recovered during her autopsy that had penetrated her lung and then broken off at her rib in the back. And he talked about the amount of force it'll take to break it and how deep it went into her body. We have already seen the tip with another witness, but again, it's a good way to paint a picture to talk about it. Jason, again, he claims she came at me because she got mad about my Tinder, but this paints a, a different um, a different picture. It looked like that she might even have been shackled up before the stabulations began. Um, Jasmine Pace's family has also now sued Jason Chen's parents for a wrongful death lawsuit because they accuse her of them of harboring Chen and providing him with money and information in the days after her death, when he was the primary subject. That's I don't know how well that'll stick. We'll have to see what's in it. The jury was shown autopsy photos. None of this was shown on screen. It should be very, very nasty pictures that were shown. So again, for his defense, that she was running at him and he was just defending himself, trying to get her away. It doesn't really line up with the evidence in the case. We talked about it when we were still covering it live, that we needed some kind of explanation, but 60 stabulation seems to show some premeditation. But now, when it could imply that she had been on her left side with her hands and feet shackled together with some kind of chain, I think our friend is done. They have to come up with a very, very good explanation. Remember, they said he put the shackle on her to keep her in the suitcase, but with all of the injuries going from scalp to neck into the lung, it because if she's coming at you, you would be going in this direction. You wouldn't go like that and only hit on one side. I'm glad we didn't have to sit through it because this sounds like it's been a horrible, horrible day in court. It sounds like it has been a horrible death, but hopefully she will get justice. And what I can read from the newspapers is I think he's toast.